Why is yoga not going to work for most people when it comes to awakening? Specifically, if we're talking about yoga, we need to be talking about Kundalini awakening. The answer is actually very simple. And this comes from a lost understanding of yoga. So if you're interested in truly understanding the whole point of yoga, watch this video. Don't just watch this video. Subscribe to the channel, like it, leave a comment, share it with people so more people can find out this very, very important knowledge. So we have yoga. Most people don't know what yoga is. Most people think yoga is calisthenics class. That has very little to do with yoga. Yoga means union. Union to what? Union with the self? Or union to the divine grace, to Shakti, to consciousness? That would make more sense, right? If we're talking about a spiritual path, it is a union between you and the spiritual. So what has been lost? Well, if we strip back all these multiple million different types of yoga that have been created by people to make their system special and unique and different, and Kundalini yoga and Kriya yoga and Hatha yoga and hot yoga and whatever. There are 4 schools of yoga. 4. As defined by Patanjali, and these 4 schools are Bhakti, Jnana, Raja, and Karma. That's it. Within the yogic traditions, there are many people that go down one school of these 4. If they have a good knowledge of yoga and they understand this, they will follow Bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga, we are talking about devotion to the goddess. If we're talking about Jnana yoga, we're talking about seeking understanding and awareness and connection through knowledge. If we're talking about Raja yoga, Raja, people will say is mental yoga or meditation. But Raja means royal, royalty of the crown, to wear the crown, to connect. And then we have Karma yoga. Karma means action, or perhaps service. Now we could translate that to service of humanity, service to the planet. Or it could mean service in service of the energy, or service to the energy, or service with the energy, which makes far more sense when we call it service or action. Action using the energies, service with the energies. If we go down only one school, this is like the Tibetan, well, we can find it in various places, but the Tibetan story of the monk leads 3 blind men to an elephant. One blind man gets to touch the ear, one blind man gets to touch the tail, and one blind man gets to touch the trunk. And they have to describe their experience. What they describe is correct, but they do not describe the elephant. So we have to embrace the 4 schools, the 4 attainments, the 4 understandings of yoga. So all this Kundalini yoga, no. All this Kriya yoga, all this Hatha. We have 8 limbs of yoga. Okay. And those 8 limbs, so for example, the asanas can prepare the body to sit in an upright position in a meditation posture to connect. Okay, fine. Awesome, great. But these 4 schools, when we boil this down to its most simplest form, means we must take action with the energy. We must devote ourselves to the goddess. The goddess, again, is the energy. So goddess means energy. We have God, consciousness, goddess, energy. It's what it means. It's not divine masculine, divine feminine. It's energy and consciousness. To embrace with knowledge, Jnana. So with knowledge, with the submission to the energy, to use the knowledge, to use the energy, karma, to connect to the royal consciousness. When we have all 4 things, all 4 schools in balance, when we have stripped away our armor, our programming, these things that keep us safe, that keep us protected, that keep us closed off from the higher connections, from the higher knowing, from the higher subtle energies. When we have all of this in balance, aligned, working, flowing, when we understand that to devote ourselves doesn't mean to bow down to, because many people think devotion means to pray to bow down to. But let's say you meet someone, they become your spouse. You devote yourself to them. It doesn't mean to say you bow down to them. It means you open yourself up to them in a marriage contract, for better or for worse. You allow that person to see every aspect of you. You take off that armor, and there will be no judgment. That's what devotion means. It means to take off that armor, to open yourself up, to find your pure essence, to connect it to the energy, to connect it to the consciousness. Kundalini, awakening, 2 parts to become one. Raise the energy, Shakti, connect to Shiva, consciousness, to form a union that creates Shakti Shiva. That is the path to the Godhead Brahman. It's very simple to explain. It might be a little bit more challenging to do. When we talk about action, what is the most powerful form of action? Karma. When it comes to yoga. Again, devotion, submission, embodiment. Another way we could say this is Wu Wei, effortless action. We take away the armor, we take away that level to protect us from judgment, to open ourselves up. When we are at this stage with the four in balance, we can raise the energy. And it's not that actually we raise the energy will rise within us. And this is where it becomes very helpful to have a guru, a master, a teacher, a guide through the process. This is what I do with my students and my clients when we go through trainings. We go through this, we see these aspects in a non-judgmental, safe place. To allow yourself to get to a point of effortless action, to strip away all this, I must do this and then that and then this and then that. There are so many people that even today, they have these things on this pedestal and they make things impossible. No one can reach enlightenment. Only the people in the past could do that. Today, it's impossible for people to do. No one is a real guru today, but the ones before were. How ridiculous is it to conceive that people in the past could do it and people today can't? Obviously, this does not exist when we talk about the Hindu ideologies, the Eastern ideologies. The whole point of the Eastern philosophies is we can get there, whether it's Zen, whether it's Buddhism, whether it's the Western ideas and the Western religions that put these personas, these ideas, these characters on this pedestal and say it's impossible to get there. And therefore, it's actually people from Western culture, even if they do not identify with Western culture, it's still being programmed into them. And they still say, basically, it's impossible and anyone that does it is a fraud. Because they have that core belief in them from their childhood and they cannot see past it. This doesn't happen in the East, in Eastern philosophies. I'm not saying it doesn't happen in the East, in the Eastern philosophies. Tantra, Zen, Buddhism all teaches about these things and how we get there. It's the whole idea. And so by using a guide and by using someone, for example, through Shaktipat, not just the movement, not Kundalini activation, the movement of prana, but through true Shaktipat and Shivapat. Obviously, Pranapat can help us heal to a point where we can begin this. It can help us de-armor. It can help us remove trauma, somatic release, deal with pent-up emotions, suppressed emotions, to heal, to get to a point. To then go into using Shaktipat and Shivapat. Now, you don't have to do that. It can be done by yourself, but it takes a lot of self-realization to be able to step out and say, I release my armor. I release, not I'm going to control my armor. I'm going to control my thoughts. I'm going to control the energy. I'm going to control. Controlling the energies is a powerful thing, and you can learn how to control them. Again, in my trainings, I teach people how to control the energies, to prepare for the point where it becomes wu-wei, effortless action. So you can just flow. The energy can rise. You connect to consciousness. So Shaktipat rises. Few people talk about Shivapat, but Shivapat is a touch of Shiva, a touch of consciousness. So the descent of grace can happen. So by having the four schools, not by going down one path, it's by having these four schools of yoga, Karma, Jnana, Bhakti, and Raja, in balance. by doing the preparatory work, by going through the healing process first. There are many ways to help you heal. Somatic release, hypnosis, pranapat. Many, many ways we can do this to heal, to get to that point of balance. So we can get to a point and we can just submit, devote ourselves, allow, let the energy find us, see us, so it can rise, we can connect to the level of consciousness. And we have a Kundalini awakening. The Shakti rises, the Shiva descends. Very, very simple ideas. When we take away the human intellectualization of these things and the path of individualization that makes mine special, unique, different, better than everybody else's. I have the answer through my system. It's about embracing the four schools at the same time to awaken. If you want to work through this by yourself, awesome, go for it. If you wish to have a guide, a teacher, someone to help you through the energy work, through Shaktipat and Shivapat, there are people out there. I do this myself. There are others out there that also do this. There are people that claim to do it, and there are people that do it. Perhaps the people that do it, they're few and far between. Perhaps not. You just have to find them. If you wish to work with me, go to my website, theawakeningandenergy.com. Come see for yourself. Come find out. Seek out others. But understand balance and what each part of that means. Effortless action from a certain stage. Before that, action to get to. Devotion, submission, release to the energies. Embracing royalty or divinity with enough knowledge to get you there. See you in another.